you can write it. We are recording, just so that you know, if we have any sharings during the workshop, we will take them out of the recording so that you can feel free to share, and it will not be kind of distributed. Anyway, I don't think we will distribute this workshop, but it's good always to have feedback. So I asked for it to be recorded. Other than the chat, I think there is another thing that maybe you want to kind of discover on your Zoom if you don't know yet. There are ways that you can raise your hand electronically. So sometimes I may ask you a question, and then you can raise your hand, and I will kind of get an idea of how many people are responding. That will give me a good way of figuring out what's going on, and if you are actually with me. I'm sure you will be. So are you ready to begin? Yeah, okay. So let's begin. The topic of this workshop is getting what you want. Oh, sorry. Getting what you want in 2025. Now, I'm sure that most of you already know what you want. Some of them maybe don't know it yet. But I think the topic could also be saying getting more of what you want in 2025. And the idea is that many times there are blocks in the way of you manifesting what you want. And I think that this workshop, the purpose, in my view, is to consider those blocks. Some of you are Insight graduates and some of you are not. If you did the seminar already, then some of what I'm going to say is going to sound very familiar to you. But as I have learned over the years, there is always something new to learn. And we are never the same as we were a month ago or 2 months ago or whenever we did the seminar. So the same idea may come up, and suddenly for some of us, it will be a completely new learning or a completely new awareness that we didn't have before. Eva already introduced me. I'll just tell you, I've been in Insight for 30 years. Insight started in Israel. I'm an Israeli, and now I live in Bulgaria. Insight started in Israel in 1995. That was the first seminar in Israel, and I was a participant. And I found this seminar to be so amazing, but not just amazing. I don't like to use big words. It was building me. It was like changing something very deep inside of me. And this is why 30 years since then, I am still with Insight. I'm learning every time I walk into the seminar room something new about myself, get more awareness, get more loving to myself and to others, get more clear about my intentions, get more committed to manifesting my intentions, and so on and so forth. So for me, it's kind of a way of life. And I'm very happy to share with you some of the ideas that I've learned over the years and to introduce the seminar to the people here who did not take it yet. So let's start with this. What actually is Insight? Insight is the leading practical education seminar in the world. And the idea is that it will teach you practical tools how to live your best life, not just how to go through living, but also how to get the most out of the time that you have on this planet. How to get the most out of your relationships with others, how to get the most in terms of getting what you want, how to get the most in relationship with yourself, and so on, with your children. There is a lot to learn when you do the seminar. So for some people, like myself, when I did the first seminar, it dawned on me that in 3 days, I got so much information that I didn't have before. And I will tell you that I studied psychology as a profession. I'm a psychologist. So, after spending 13 years studying psychology, I go into the seminar room 3 days. It's not like a professional seminar in the university. It's an experience, a learning experience. And suddenly there are so many new awarenesses and so many new insights that I got in those 3 days. So that gives you an idea of how powerful this seminar is. Insight was founded in 78. Close to 2 million people have participated all over the world, over 30 countries, 17 languages, and in Cyprus. And Cyprus is one of my favorite places. Not only have I been with the Cyprus community since Krasimir began Insight in Cyprus, but I've also facilitated a number of seminars, did a lot of workshops, and for me, Cyprus is like home. If Krasimir tells me, come and do a workshop, I get on the plane, I'm there in the afternoon, I do a workshop. Sometimes I can fly even at the same night or the next morning. So it's a beautiful experience for me to have so many friends in the Insight Cyprus community. Let's continue. Here is a question to all of you, the people who took Insight and everybody else. We always say that we have mind, body, and emotions. This is how we are used to describe human beings or the parts of human being. And the question is there more? I think that the people who did the seminar realize that there is more. But to the people who didn't, I ask you, what is it that is beyond your mind, your body, and your emotions? And in order to kind of get a grips of a little bit of that, I would ask you to kind of do an exercise with me. We call it a closed eye process. And we do it in the seminar often. And it's a beautiful way of kind of letting go of the things that bother us, that are still, we still bring with us from the day. Like, oh, I forgot to go to the groceries, or I forgot to do that, or I'm worried because tomorrow I have a big meeting. So in order to really get value out of this evening, I want to do something that will focus us on here and now. Kind of relax, kind of bring ourselves into the room, into the seat where you're sitting, and also answer the question of what is there more than mind, body, and emotions. So if you're willing, close your eyes, sit comfortably and close your eyes, and take a deep breath. Take it in, hold it, and let it out. And in your imagination, I want you to observe your thoughts. Just kind of, what are the thoughts that are going through your head right now? You don't need to try to change them. You can just let them be and let them flow through your consciousness. Don't try to focus and hold them. Just let your thoughts be whatever they are. Just observe. And now put your focus on your body, starting with your head. Scan your body and see if there's any place in your body that is tense or hurt you. Don't need to do anything about it. Don't try to change it. Just let it be. Just notice. Observe. And now, watch your emotions. Are you tired? Maybe there is another emotion going through, maybe boredom, curiosity. Whatever it is, don't try to change it. Just be with that. Let it be. And then ask yourself, who is this part that can observe my emotions, my body, and my mind? What is it in me that is capable of doing that? And take another deep breath. Let it out. And open your eyes. So maybe some of you have an answer. What is it inside of us that is more than our mind, our body, and our emotions? To me, the answer is, it is my heart. It is my authentic self. It is a part in me that probably was born with me. Some people say it's the spirit. But as I grew up, I learned a lot. My mind has changed, my body has changed, my emotions definitely have changed. I have made connections between what my mind tells me and how I feel, and all of those things are okay. But there is something deeper. There is a core in me that is beyond that. And if I can touch this place, then I can find a lot of more than my human experience. So in psychology, we talk about spiritual psychology. And I want to just in a few words explain to you what we mean. If you look at this slide, it says we are divine beings having a human experience. This is a new way of looking at things. Maybe my human experience, okay, I'm having a human experience. I'm getting upset, I'm getting bored, I'm having good relationships with X and better relationships with Y and whatever it is. But there is some part of me, maybe it's my spirit, that is beyond that. It's above that. It can observe it. And maybe I can connect with that. So in the world, when we live in this world, we live along the goal line. You will see it down there. It says goal line. I'm sure you will recognize that most of the times in your life, you are kind of going forward to have more of something, and you would like to have less of something else. Or in other words, if you look at your financial situation, you would like to be on the plus more than on the minus. So life goes in the way of avoiding things that I don't want and achieving things that I do want. And that's the goal line. This is how we basically set our goals in life. We know what we want and we go for it. Is there another line? I think there is. And in Insight, we work with that line as well. So it's a practical seminar. We work about how to achieve our goals, how to get more of what we want. But at the same time, we are also kind of focusing on the other part of us, the part that is more connected to the soul line. And this is a part of where I can learn to kind of become more and more connected to the deep part of me, to the core of me, to the authentic self. And as I do that, I get more awareness of who I am and what I am. I can kind of see more gratitude in my life. I can get more acceptance to things the way they are. And that's for a lot of us a good learning. I can create more compassion, just generate in myself more compassion. Even if somebody upsets me, I can still have compassion for that person. I can get more inner peace. How many of us would just love to have some inner peace, just to relax from the life, from the treadmill of achieving more and more in our life, and just to relax and have some peace. And eventually, this leads to loving. Loving everything, loving what is. So that's the way spiritual psychology looks at life. So here's a question to you. You came to this evening and the topic was how to get more of what you want in 2025. So the question is, what do you want to have more of? If you want, you can just raise your hand and let's see if we can figure it out how to let you talk, or you can put it in the chat. If anybody wants to share, hey, let's do it this way. Just unmute yourself and share. What do you want more of?
Yeah, if it's okay, I will start. Hello, everybody. My name is Stefan. I did my Insight 1 and 2 in 2023, and especially in Insight 2, there is an exercise you got a compass, and I created an amazing compass for myself. But what I realized in the last week is that I'm not using it. So what I want is definitely to use my compass from Insight 2 again. And this compass was including trusting, trusting the life, trusting what's happened in life, and also unconditional love. And I realized that I don't use this compass for myself, but I also don't use it for other people and for what's happening. So this is what I want again: trusting, loving myself and other people unconditional, and also to have more, joyfulness. I will say it.
Good. Thank you. I also see in the chat that people wrote more time. We will talk about more time because, we will talk about it. Just remember when I talk about energy. Somebody wrote financial abundance. That's always nice to have more of. Joy, love, money, happier growth relationships, loving partner and fulfillment, abundance, health, and happiness. Okay, so that's great. That's great to hear from you. So the next question is, do you have what you want? Some of us do. Some of us don't, right? Somebody wrote, no, I don't. So, there is a nice sentence, a nice quote in Insight. If you don't have what you want, you either have results or you have excuses. So if you have an intention and you don't get what you wanted, you will probably have excuses of why it didn't happen. So another way of saying it is your intention, your clarity of your intention is reflected by the level of results that you manage to achieve. Is that clear in terms of a general rule? Okay. So we will talk in this workshop about the blocks of having what we want. And we will start with this. unclear or conflicting intentions. Some of us, as I said, are not clear about what they really want. So if they're not clear, they cannot have it, right? If I don't know what I want, even if somebody will come and tell me, here, take it, if I don't know that I really want it, I'll probably not pay attention to that. The other thing is limiting beliefs. Many times, even if I know what I want, I'm not going out to get it because there are beliefs in my belief system that say to me, this is impossible. If it's impossible, then there is no point in doing the work, in committing my energy to that. So belief system is a very strong block in having what I want. And by the way, we will talk about each one of them. I'm not just, giving you pointers. I will talk about each one of those. Fears. Fear is another thing that blocks us. A lot of times when I think about what I want, what comes up, well, a lot of times when I think about what I want, what comes up is a way to get it. And the way to get it is usually something that is outside of my comfort zone. Therefore, the fear will come in and block me. So I will not go for what I want because I'm afraid to go outside of my comfort zone and take risks. So that's another one. Lack of self-trust and self-image. If I don't trust myself, then there is no point going for what I want. I will doubt myself, and doubt will stop me from getting what I want. And wasted energy. If I put my energy in other things, then there is not enough energy to put into the things that I really want to achieve. And many of us are putting our energy in a lot of things that are not that important and don't lead me closer to what I want to get in my life. So, by the way, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. I'm seeing the chat as I speak. So, intention and method. Let's talk about those intentions. Let's say that I want to get from Cyprus to Israel. Can you write in the chat how I can do that? You need a map. Right, I need a map. But let's say I know where Cyprus is and where Israel is. What are the methods that I can use in order to get there? I can go take a flight, right? I can go on a plane. Somebody said take action. I said, what action? Okay, by ship or by plane. Right. And here is what Helena writes to me. You probably need some money to pay for the plane or the train or the food on the way, right? So this is the point. If in my mind, I say to myself, okay, I want to go to Israel. Now I can take a plane or a ship. I need money. If I don't have money, what will I do? I will give up on the intention, right? Because the automatic method that comes up in my mind when I'm thinking about traveling is either train, train, plane, ship, whatever. It takes money, right? And if I don't have money, then I will give up on that. And that goes for any intention that I have. That goes for almost any dream that I can think of. I have an idea of what I want, and then automatically in my mind comes a method. And if this method is not available to me for some reason, then I give up on my dream rather than saying to myself, basically, what's important? Important is my intention. So rule number one, if I focus on my intention, and I start opening my mind to alternative methods, at some point, some method will come up, and this will be a method that I can use in order to manifest my intention. For the example of going from Cyprus to Israel, for instance, I can go to the marina and start asking around with the boats of the Israelis who are coming back and forth. Is anybody willing to take me to Israel? I'm willing to cook. I'm willing to clean the boat, whatever. I will be part of your team. I will help you sail the boat to Israel. That's one method. So basically, think about it. Be very clear about your intention, even if you don't know at this point what the method will be. Rule number one. Okay, next. How does intention create results? You know, we said we can either have the results that we want, or we can have excuses why we don't have it. So in order to create results, first of all, I need a very clear intention. I need to know where I want to go, what I want to have. That's the first step. Then I need to start taking action. Somebody wrote it in the chat. I need to start taking action in that direction. And then what will happen is that I will get feedback. What does it mean to get feedback? If I take an action and I stop for a minute and I ask myself, did this action work? Did this take me closer to my intention, to where I want to get, or not? If it did, it's good feedback. It means this was a step in the right direction. If it wasn't a step in the right direction, it's feedback. It means try something different. So all the time, getting to what I want is not just dreaming about what I want and then start running in that direction. Why does it say baby steps? Because a lot of times we will have a wrong method in our mind. We will keep running in a specific direction, and then suddenly we stop and we say, wait, but this is not where I wanted to go. This is not where I wanted to end up. So smaller steps taken in a consistent way, and listening to the feedback and checking if it works for me, if it brings me closer, is the best way of manifesting my intention. So I do one step, I get feedback, I do another, I get feedback, and so on and so forth, until I reach the goal that I wanted to reach. And as I said before, I need to watch if there are any conflicting intentions. Let's talk about it. Wait, let's talk about it for a second. What does it mean to have conflicting intentions? Let's say that you want to have a relationship. Somebody said, I want to have a relationship. Okay, you want to have a relationship, and you find that, you know, that you've used any method that you can think of. You went to friends and you asked them to introduce you to somebody. You went to the internet and you did some searches on dating platforms. Whatever, you did this and you did that, and you don't feel that you're successful. The feedback is that you're not getting there. Then you need to think about something else. Is there another intention? Maybe that intention is like unconscious or subconscious, but this intention is working against your intention to have a relationship. What could it be? Okay, I can tell you, in my experience, having a relationship and at some point was negated by an intention to have my freedom. I wanted to be me. I wanted to do anything I want to do at any time I want to do. I didn't want anybody to tell me what to do, how to live my life, and whatever. And I realized that a relationship means that I'm giving another person not necessarily the power, but I'm giving them the right to have demands on me, to say, oh, but I want you, I don't want you to go bowling now. I would love you to go out with me to meet my friends, or whatever, So conflicting intentions, sometimes they're conscious and sometimes not, but they may be in the way of you getting what you want. And it's a good idea to kind of evaluate that and ask myself, is there anything that is preventing me from going for what I want? So the intention, for instance, fear also has to do with conflicting intentions. Because if my intention is to keep safe and not, for instance, be ashamed or be critiqued by other people or be ridiculed by other people, then I'm not going to take chances. And in a lot of times in my life, the only way to get what I want is to take a risk. So the intention to stay safe is conflicting with the intention of getting what I want, because I will not take risks, so I will not get what I want. So that's kind of something that is important for you to realize and kind of have a conversation with yourself and ask yourself, when you didn't get what you want, are there limiting beliefs that are working here? Maybe I don't believe that, I can get it, or maybe I don't believe that I deserve it, or maybe I don't believe that this is even possible. With the relationship example, maybe I believe that women cannot be trusted. So if this belief is sitting inside of me, and at the same time, I want a relationship with a woman, then it will kind of color the kind of relationship that I will be looking for. And if I want an honest relationship, but I don't trust the person that I'm going out with, then I will not be honest with them and I will not trust what they are telling me. So that's something that is important for you to kind of become aware of. Now, I realize that what we're doing tonight is more of a general kind of philosophical conversation. But these are very, very real things. And in the seminar, we are actually going to look at those things, and not from a theoretical standpoint, but we're going to find what are our intentions, what are our beliefs, are there conflicting intentions? So as an experiential learning, we will get the information that we need. But we do it in the seminar room because that's the place where we can all get together and share and do exercises and kind of over the 3 years, build one layer on top of the other and get deeper and deeper into knowing our mechanism, ourselves, our heart, our mind, the way our emotions work, and so on. However, another thing to do is, I think that you got on your, in the group, maybe you got a piece of paper that looks something like this. So I would like to take a few minutes for you. You can start and then you can continue at home. If you don't have a piece of paper like this, you can just make it up. Take a piece of paper. On the top right, what is your intention? And then on the side, write method and a few lines, and the next step with a few lines. This is a practical way to kind of start like a process of training your mind to come up with different methods of getting to where you want to be. not the automatic one. I need money in order to fly to Israel, but other ones. The ones that were not so obvious to begin with. Okay? And once you have those methods, for each one of them, you can write a small next step that you need to commit to in order to get feedback if you are going closer to your intention, to your goal. I will give you an example, which is something I did years ago, but it works very well because now I have basically achieved this intention fully. But a few years ago, around 9 years ago, I was in the process of thinking about retirement. So in one of the seminars, I did this example, and I did it like this. My intention was to retire by the end of the year. Okay? This is a clear intention. End of the year, I want to retire. So then I started thinking about, okay, what do I need in order to retire by the end of the year? So the first method that I could think of, and there were others, was I need to generate passive income if I want to retire. And for most people, retirement means I will work less. So in order to work less and keep my life the way it is, I wanted to have passive income. By the way, some of you may think of other methods, and some of you may think that my method is not a good one, but it makes no difference. You're not living my life and I'm not living yours. That's why in the seminar, we never give advice. We just kind of ask you what questions to ask yourself. So the second method was to lower my living expenses. Maybe I'll have less money, but if my living expense will be less, then I don't need so much money. And the third one was to set up a consulting company. Because if I have a consulting company, then I am kind of managing my time. I can decide how many hours I want to do. And I can still work a little, but I will not need to go 9 to 5, go to an office, sit there and, do a regular job. This to me was good enough in terms of retiring if I kind of kept myself busy doing consulting with the things that I know to do best. Okay? So my next steps. First of all, I said, okay, in order to generate passive income, I can invest in rental properties. So I did. My son has a real estate company in the United States, and I gave him money and I said, here, I'm investing my money in your company, and I will get income from your profits. Number two, move to a cheaper place. So now I live in Bulgaria, where the living expense is about half of what I paid in Israel. So that's one way of doing it. And the third one was set up a consulting company. So in order to do that, my next step had to be talk to an accountant and get a tax ID, which I did. So I opened up my own company, I talked to an accountant, I figured out how I need to do things, and now I live doing consulting from Bulgaria, and I am much more abundant than I was when I was working full-time. I have more time, I enjoy myself more, I can do insights facilitating and volunteer with Insight in many seminars, and life is beautiful. So do this for yourself. And you can do it at home anytime with any intention or goal that you have in mind. Start thinking about the little things that will get you there. and start doing them. The next step is something that you have to do. It's not something that you have to consider. When I did a project like that with my retirement, I had very, very specific small goals, and I had a time frame until when every one of those specific goals has to be completed. And then at the end of a week, I would look at my goals, or whenever I decided that the deadline was, and if this was not done, then I would say to myself, okay, what is my awareness? What were the blocks that prevented me from doing that? Was it fear? Was it a limiting belief? Was it a conflicting intention? This became my awareness process. This combined with a high level of commitment will get you anything that you want. Anything. So you can just do this anytime, and we will continue. In Insight, we do a lot of sharing. You already, Stefan already shared what you want to create more in your life. If there is anybody else who would like to share more, and let's do it lasered. It's like my name, something about yourself, whether you did Insight or not, or your age, or what you're doing in life, and then what you want to create more in your life. It's very important, you know, not to just think about these things, but to kind of verbalize them. Because if I have a dream and it's only here in my mind, it's very easy for my thoughts to go somewhere else, especially if I'm not very sure that I can do it. So rather than not being disappointed, I will just forget that this is my intention. But if I state my intention clearly, verbally, and in the seminar, we might do it with 40 people watching me, then it's a commitment. Then I'm taking the first step of kind of affirming, this is what I want. So if any of you wants to share, just, you know, you can unmute yourself, and let's take a few minutes to do that. Going once, going twice. Gone. Okay.
I have something.
Yes. Marcus?
My name is Markus, and I want to improve my business in order to free my life.
Mm-hmm. Great. How does it feel once you have kind of stated it?
I feel like I have more energy, I'm more determined what I want, and it feels very good.
Right. So this is one lesson to all of us. Stating the intention verbally outside is building the energy in that direction. One of the creators of Insight said that energy follows thought into manifestation. So first of all, I need to think that is what I want. Then when I kind of state it in a very clear way, the energy is coming, and that is the energy that then I can use in order to manifest my intention. A lot of times when I was, you know, thinking about something that I want, but I wasn't very clear about it, and I kind of felt a little kind of not sure that I can get there, then I would just forget about it. And then I would be kind of okay. But once I said, this is what I want, especially if I said it out loud or I wrote it down and I looked at it, this is what I want, it helped me focus on my intention and then generate the energy to do that. Anybody else? Eva? Yes.
Yes,
My
Ofer. Sorry.
Yes. So Eva and then Christina. Yes, Eva.
Okay, my name is Eva. I've been to Insight 1 and 2, and I will be on Assisted Insight 2 at the end of January this month. And what I want to create in my life, I want to get retired soon. 1 year, maybe.
Mhm.
Yep.
Great. So we will talk about all these little tools that can help you. You already know them because you've been in the seminar. And it's commitment and just doing one step at a time. Just going for that. And never, never, never forget that you are a powerful creator. Christina, you wanted to share?
Yes,
Hi.
indeed. Hello, Ofer. Nice to see you.
Same here.
I would like to work on my business here at home. And I would love to work on my apparel clothing and design it and then open an online shop
Mhm.
to have more freedom, use my creativity and do something good. Maybe
Great.
even use some charity and raise some money for them as well.
Mhm. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, so let's continue. This sentence, you are what you believe you are. And the world is what you expect. And if it's not what you expect, then you judge or resent. Think about it for a minute. In the Bible, it says, as a man thinketh, so he becomes, or something like that. So this goes to our mind, to our ego. Since we're very young, our parents, and then our people around us, our teachers, and then our spouses, and then our co-workers, and everybody is giving us kind of feedback about who we are and what we are. You're good in that, you're not good in that, you look this, you look that, whatever it may be. The moment we take those in and make it ours, then we become that. So if a parent will tell me, you're not good enough, if I allow this to go in, and by the way, as children, we allow a lot of it to go in, and it kind of defines how we think about ourselves. Because as children, we are not strong enough to kind of tell our parents, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm a powerful creator. I'm a beautiful human being. I can do everything that I want to do. You know, we are children. We are actually, in the first years, we are in survival mode. We need our parents' approval and loving and support in order to survive. So we are not really into arguing. We can have temper tantrums, but still, this is not, you know, we cannot have our way. And we kind of learn who we are through that interaction. And then with the teachers and so on. now we can be 50 years, 60 years. I am 72 years old. And sometimes I will find myself with some kind of a belief about me that I can, if I become conscious, I can kind of trace back to something that my parents told me. And it affects me today because that belief system is defining what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do, what I trust, what I don't trust, what I think my capabilities are. So the glass ceiling above me is defined by the way that I perceive of myself and what I believe about myself. And the same goes for everything around me. Our mind is basically created a picture of me and the world around me, everything. But that picture is in my mind. Even my expectations. Do I expect the driver on the road to give way when I use my turn signal and I'm behind them, or when I flash my light? This is my expectation. If my expectation would be that drivers are just doing whatever they're doing, some of them will and some of them won't, then my response to them not responding to me would be kind of neutral. Oh, this is the driver that doesn't. But if I have an expectation that this is the law, this is the rule, this is what I expect drivers to do, and they don't give me way, then I become upset and I judge and I become resentful. And judgment and resentment, whether it's towards other or towards myself, is a kind of negativity that is lowering my emotion, lowering my energy, sorry. It's bringing up my emotion, my negative emotions, but it's lowering my energy. The more positive I can be about whatever is around me and about myself, the more there is a chance that I will go out to get what I want. If I spend my time in self-judgment, resentment, believing that I can't do this and I can't do that, then the level of energy that I have available to go for what you want will be much lower. And then I can add another judgment about myself. Oh, I can never get what I want. Okay? And then the next time I think about something I want, this belief or judgment will work against that. No, I can never get what I want. How many of you know people who are in that kind of state of mind? They just don't trust themselves to be able. And you look at them and you say, why don't you try? And they say, nah, I'm not good at that. Or I can't do that. Some of them even have evidence that they are what they believe they are. But this is another trick of the mind. If I will tell you that you are going to go for a cooking seminar, you will learn how to cook. The next time you walk in the street and you see the window of a bookstore, you know which books will come up and kind of hit you in the face. You will automatically notice them. Cookbooks. Because there is a filter in your mind that is bringing to you evidence for whatever you are focusing on. So if I'm focusing on something that I'm not good at, I will either create or find evidence that I am right about the negativity that I perceive of myself. That's a rule of life. If you don't believe me, fine. I lived that a lot of years, 72, and I learned on my experience that this is a rule of life. There's so many things that I believe that I can't do, and once something happened that kind of changed me in a way of going for that, suddenly I found, oh yeah, I can do that. Maybe not as an expert, but I can do that. Somebody tells me, yeah, I'm 100% true. Yeah, I know. Okay, so watch your beliefs, watch your self-image, watch what you told yourself and what you're telling yourself anytime during the day. Anytime. One of the people who created Insight has just wrote a book, and he spoke about self-talk and soul talk. He said, self-talk is like the ego talking. So when you say, I'm not good in mathematics, or I cannot dance, or there is no way that I can be rich, or whatever that is, this is self-talk. This is kind of your mind giving feedback to your mind and kind of cementing your beliefs. Soul talk is what happens when you talk and listen to your heart, to the part in you that knows that you are a powerful creator, to the part of you that knows that truly you are an amazing being, to the part of you that knows that anything that you think you cannot do, you can do. Because that part has a different view of you, a clean one, not what you learned from your parents and from society and whatever it is. What is the divine part of you, the soul in you? We call it the self with a big S. And this part of you, the part that has loving and compassion and awareness and gratitude and can look at things and remain clean, neutral, and loving and accepting, this part is the part that will get you through any difficulty that you might have in life. Because it will bypass the negativity. And it will connect you to your loving. You're loving to yourself and you're loving to everything around you. And I know that this is words. Each one of us at some point will feel it, even for a second. When you do, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Excuse me,
Yes?
could you repeat the last thing with the bypass, please, again? I would like to understand it fully.
Okay. I think I said that when you are connected to your heart and to your soul, you will bypass any difficulty. If that's not what I said, maybe somebody else remember. I'm not reading text, so it's like I'm going through what's true for me when I speak to you. But I will repeat kind of the basic idea. The mind has a picture of what I am, what the universe is, you know, what to expect. Everything is part of my mind. And the mind will bring me evidence to what I believe. So in order to kind of negate that, I need to open myself up and kind of be willing to look at myself and at everything around me in a different eye. Now, it cannot be the eyes of the mind because the mind is biased. I need to find a new eyes, okay? Let's say it this way, new eyes. What are these new eyes? It's the eyes that come from my soul and my heart and have compassion and loving and acceptance and okay? That was the idea. Many of us, and I've seen it in many, many seminars, when you ask them, what do you want? They say, I want to connect with myself, right? Have you ever experienced that? People, what did they want? They want to connect with themselves. So the interpretation is, I want to understand myself better, right? But I'm not sure that this is what their heart really wants. What is this self that you want to connect to? In order for me to go to a restaurant, I need to know where the restaurant is. So the question that I'm asking now is, when you say you want to connect with yourself, what self do you want to connect to? Do you want to connect with your mind? Or do you want to connect with your heart and with your soul, which is like a deeper place and a place that is beyond your mind and your emotion and your body? I think you want to connect with your heart. That's the real meaning of connecting with myself. Because there is a rule in science that we say the mind cannot observe itself or something like that. When you kind of, by trying to connect or to observe your mind, you're changing your mind in a way, okay? You need to find another perspective. Otherwise, your beliefs and your thoughts and your automatic behaviors will take charge. So you need to find another perspective of looking at yourself in order to bring change and in order to understand what is the mechanism that is driving you. And that new perspective is coming from the heart and from a new set of eyes. I hope I make myself clear. Okay, let's continue. So I said, you are a powerful creator. When we do this children's seminar or the teen seminar, this is a very important lesson for them, because a lot of teenagers are already at the stage where their self-limitations are already kind of set in. I'm good at this, I'm not good at that. I can do this, I cannot do that. But as teenagers, they still have a lot of time to work and change that perception. And they have a lot of time to experience being a powerful creator. When we grow older, I've been in the seminar many years, and many people told me, well, I'm 60 years old, so how do they say? Old dogs cannot learn new tricks. So people kind of are, how do I say it, giving up on the idea that they can bring change to their lives. They think that, you know, whatever they are, it's unchangeable. And because they are unchangeable, then life is unchangeable. But that's another limiting belief. This belief goes to this thing. If you keep doing what you've always done, you will keep having what you always had. So people that say, I cannot change, I tell them, well, okay, as long as you believe that and you keep doing what you've always done, you will keep having what you always had. That's it. That's a truth in a way. Yeah, I know you will tell me, well, sometimes somebody from the outside will make changes. Yeah, but generally, as the more we get used to our automatic behaviors and thoughts and beliefs, the more that we get used to that, the less chance of us to change something in the way that we live, and then therefore in the results that we get. So if you want to have more of something that you have, or if you want to have something that you don't have right now, you cannot keep doing what you've always done and thinking the way you always thought, because it will not happen. And then I ask people, okay, let's say you know that you want something. Do you know what you need to do in order to get it? Some people are kind of thinking and they said, yes, I do know what I need to do. And then I say, okay, if you know, how come you didn't do it before? And then they have excuses why they didn't do it. So here is another block, and that is fear and the comfort zone. Knowing what I need to do different in order to get different results usually means that I need to do something which is outside of my comfort zone. It's not something that I'm used to doing. It's not something that I'm comfortable with doing, because if it were, I would have done it before already. The fact that I know something and I'm not doing it means that there are reasons why I'm not doing it. And that is usually fear. Hesitation. Let's call it hesitation. And fear is a very interesting thing, because you might say that fear is something that saves us, that is responsible for our survival. And I would agree at some level. If you look at our, how do you call it? At the way we grew as human beings, our species, in the past, very far past, in the base of our brain, in our brain stem, there is a mechanism that is responsible for our survival. This mechanism is called the amygdala. Okay? It's like a little thing in the middle of the brain, very, very low in what we call the old brain, not the cortex where our thoughts and so on. The old brain. How the amygdala works is like this. If I go on the path in the jungle and suddenly a bear jumps out in front of me, okay? The eye see a bear, the mind will kind of automatically go to the amygdala. The amygdala will automatically send chemicals, hormones, into my bloodstream. And then I will feel the fear, and then I will have the response, as they say, the 3 Fs. I can fight, flight, or fright. I get upset, and then I have this decision if I want to fight the bear or I'm going to run away. So this is automatic. It's not like I'm saying to myself, oh, there is a bear here. I wonder what I should do. No, it's automatic. Okay? So this is called the amygdala hijack. Why? Because it doesn't go through my conscious mind. The amygdala is hijacking me. Body, emotions, everything is like now in flight or fright mode. Okay? The interesting thing is that fear is also general. And by the way, this is a survival mechanism. Not only that, we are born with an automatic response to the color red, like many other animals. Red symbolizes danger. This is why the fire truck is red. This is why some animals have red stains on their body, so that other animals will not eat them. So there are a lot of things that our old brain is very good at in keeping our survival mechanisms. However, if I would tell you to close your eyes and imagine that there is a bear coming at you, some of you would still feel the fear. Which means that it's not only a direct path from your eyes through to your amygdala, but it also can come from your imagination and generate the same response. Okay, so far, you're with me? Now, when you tell yourself, in order to get more of what I want, I need to take a risk, part of your automatic behavior, some of you, will be your imagination will play like a script of that risk. Maybe I will make a mistake. Maybe people will ridicule me. Maybe I will not fall on my face and I will feel ashamed. All of these things, all of those negative outcomes that might happen. And then you don't want that to happen. You're afraid of that. So the fear will feel real, even though those outcomes that you were thinking about were completely fantasy. There were maybe, they didn't really happen, but your body responded as if it did. And since we don't like fear, we will back down in order to avoid the fear. And even though we know what we could do in order to get more of what you want, we will not do it. Because going outside of our comfort zone and taking a risk is uncomfortable. That's why I said before, that's why I wrote down here, opportunity and risk. Those are like two sides of the scale. If I'm willing to take a risk, I'll have opportunity. But in order to have opportunity, I need to take a risk. And we need to kind of be aware of that and be willing to take a risk. Now, who is willing to take a risk more? Somebody who is strong and powerful creator, or somebody who doesn't believe that they can achieve what they want? The answer is clear. So if you build up your self-esteem and your self-trust, and to me, self-trust means, I will tell you by example. My son took the seminar when he was 13 years old. And Insight. And I look at him, and he always tells me, when he thinks about doing new things or taking a risk in business or whatever, he says to me, well, I know it's a risk. I know that there are possible outcomes, positive and negative, but I also know that whatever happens, I will fall on my feet. Like, you know, like I will be okay. This level of self-trust, of knowing that whatever happens, I will be okay. I will manage to cross this bridge when I get there. If you can build that in you, then really the sky's the limit, because you are willing to take risks. And I'm not talking about, you know, unreasonable risks. I never jump from a building in order to see if I can really fly. But there are many, many other things that I will risk because I know that I will be able to support myself, whatever happens. So that's the lesson here. Let's see what else. Oops, second. Energy. So let's talk a little about energy. I said that I need the energy to kind of do the things, to take the steps that I want to take in order to get to where I want to get. And in the seminar, we're talking about what are the things that are basically holding back our energy, or what are things that where I waste my energy. And we're talking about agreements and self-trust. So I'll do it in a very kind of concise way, not like we do it in the seminar. But here is the idea. Think about it. Imagine that you have a part in you that is responsible for managing your energy. This part is listening to you, and whenever you decide to do something, which means you say to yourself, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or you're going to say to somebody else, you make an agreement with somebody else, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. For example, I'm going to write a letter to the bank. This is an agreement with myself. Or somebody calls me and says, will you be able, or are you willing to come and help me clean the house? Yeah, sure, I will come and help you clean the house. Okay. Think about each time that you are deciding to do something or in making an agreement with yourself or with somebody else, this part that manages your energy is putting aside a little bit of energy for that purpose. I know it might not be like that in reality, but as a concept, just think about it. So you have a given amount of energy, and every time you're saying to yourself or to somebody else, I'm agreeing to do this or I'm agreeing to do that, some of this energy that you have is being put aside to support this task or to fulfill this agreement. Whenever you do this agreement or you fulfill the task, the energy comes back to you. So imagine you have like a bank account. So you have deposits. Whenever you do something, the energy comes back. Or you have expenses, you withdraw energy to the side. And then one day you want to do something that really requires a lot of energy, but you're tired and you don't feel like it, and you don't really have the energy to do it. And, you're just there, just sitting and you're dreaming about it, but you don't feel energized to get up and go and do something. The reason is because you have so many things that you have agreed to do and you haven't done yet, that all this energy has been taken away from you. Now, this is a symbolism, okay? Just kind of so that you can think about it in this way. So one way of getting back your energy so that you can go out and do things is to free up the energy that is locked in all of those agreements that you made and all of those incompletes. We call it incompletes. If I decide that I'm going to do something, but I haven't done it yet, it's an incomplete. And the energy for doing that is sitting somewhere waiting for me to execute. And until I do, I will not have that energy. In a matter of my experience and my feelings, maybe you can relate to that. If you kind of sit in a minute and think about it, there are probably tens, if not hundreds of things that are incomplete in your life. Things that you said to yourself, I should do, I have to do, I will do, or to yourself or to others. People make lists and they get to hundreds. Now, the point is that at any given time, only 7 things will be in your mind. It's like a rule of physics. And when something comes in new, something goes out. So you get like a general feeling that there is a lot of things you need to do. You don't remember a lot of them. And even if you do 1 or 2 things, still this feeling of, man, I have so much to do is not letting you go. So one of the ways, and by the way, talking about self-trust, not only are you losing the energy when you're making agreements and you're not fulfilling them, you're also losing your self-trust. Because something inside of you listened when you said, I am going to write the letter to the bank. And a week or 2 weeks later, when it didn't happen, it will trust you a little less. You promised and you didn't do. It's like a little child that when you tell it tomorrow we're going to have ice cream at 3 o'clock, starting at 2 o'clock, he will say, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, you promised ice cream. And if you don't do it, they will be disappointed and they will stop trusting you. So this goes for yourself. So in order to build your self-trust, we say, make less agreements, have less incompletes, create a relationship with yourself so that you know, when I say that I'm going to do something, I will do it. My word is like etched in stone. See how your relationship with yourself would change. See how relationships with others will change if you take this approach to life. You don't have to agree to anything you don't want to agree to. How many of you are automatic agreeers? Somebody says, let's have coffee next week. Sure, yeah, why not? If you go to Israel, yes, say hello to my friend Johnny. Sure, I will. Do I do that? No, because I forget. So the automatic agreeers are actually undermining their self-trust and the belief in their ability to go out and get what they want. And in order to kind of take care of that, you can write to yourself, take a piece of paper. We are not going to do that now. I'm just want to show you the tool, but we're not going to actually do that. You make a list of all the little things that you can think of that you committed to do, whether with yourself, with others, what I should do, what I said I will do, what I would like to do, all of these things. And it can be a very long list. And then you, on the top, you write done, someday maybe, yes, I'll do it, delegate, and notes. So I will go with you over each one of them. Done. What does it mean, done? By the way, okay, let's start with yes. Email a letter to the insurance company. Yes, I'm going to do it. So on the notes, I will write when I'm going to do it. I don't want to leave it open. I want to have a specific deadline and I'm going to do it by this deadline. Finish reading the book. Done. If I have a book that I am reading and every time I find myself starting on the same page and I'm putting the book down or, I haven't touched it for weeks, it still sits in my mind. So what I want to do is just define it as finished. If you want, I can read the last page. If it's like a mystery book, I'll read the last page. I see who done it, and it's done. Same for create a PowerPoint, I promised. I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to tell the person I'm not going to do it. Exercise twice a week, yes. And I will write when. Throw out the old clothes. If I don't want to do it, I can delegate. I can ask my good friend or somebody, you know, are you willing to come and help me throw out the old clothes? Okay? Buy a new couch. It's a good idea, but I don't want to keep it as a incomplete. So I put it in someday maybe. I can put it away somewhere in a list, and that's it. I don't need to think about it anywhere. Not every time I walk into my living room, I want to say, oh shit, I said I'm going to buy a new couch. No, I don't want my consciousness to be dealing with that if I know I'm not going to do it at this point. Plant new flowers. I will ask somebody else to plant the flowers for me. Okay, so that's the idea. Create a list like this, and this will free up your energy to do anything you want to do. So in summary, tools for manifesting what I want. One is have clear intentions and identify conflicting intentions. Evaluate my beliefs. Do I have limiting beliefs that will be standing against my intention? Step outside my comfort zone. Take a risk. Do things that I'm not used to do. Keep your agreements. Get rid of incompletes. Make fewer agreements. If I make an agreement, I can write down so that I will know this was an agreement that I made. And make only agreements that are important. If somebody says, when you go to Israel, say hello to Jack, I will say, if I'll remember. And then it's not an agreement. Okay? And sometimes out of goodwill, I'm making conflicting agreements. I don't remember that I agreed to something, and then I agree to something else, and they're conflicting. They're happening at the same time or whatever. I cannot do both. Then what I need to do is, in goodwill, negotiate with the people I made the agreements with. Renegotiate. Say, listen, I'm sorry, I realize I made a conflicting agreement. Is it okay with you if we change the date or the time or whatever? Never use lying in order to get out of a conflicting agreement. Oh, I'm sorry, I had to go to the United States or whatever, or I'm ill. That doesn't work. It works once, but if you do it with your friends a couple of times, they will learn not to trust you. And you learn not to trust yourself. Let go of stuff. Letting go. Use the eyes of your soul. Use patience, acceptance, loving. If you know, not only stuff, you can let go of old things that you don't need anymore. You can let go of hopes that you know are irrational. You can let go of emotions like guilt and resentment. Just let go of them. Practice gratitude. If you want to have more in your life, start by being grateful for what you already have. And the reason is that the universe will give you whatever your mindset is. So if you use gratitude, it means that you feel abundant. And then you get more abundance. This is what your consciousness learns is the state of nature. Nature is abundant. And then I will find abundance. And if I'm in a state of mind of lack, I don't have enough, that's exactly what I'm getting. I will not have enough. I will always be focused on what I don't have. And by the way, then I will not have the energy to go out and get what I do want. Act as if. Part of having something that is outside of my comfort zone is to train my mind, my consciousness, that this is at all possible. I said before, maybe I don't believe it's possible, so I'm not going to do it. Who is not believing it's possible? My mind. Based on what I know about myself, about the world, about my beliefs and everything. This is not possible. So acting as if is kind of training my mind to say this is possible. If I don't believe that I can have money, one way of acting as if is giving money. Being abundant and giving it away. Somebody said he wanted to have a Porsche, a car, Porsche. And he didn't have money, and he had like a simple Fiat or something. What he did is he kind of wanted to train his mind that it's possible for him to have a Porsche. So he took like cardboard and he made like a cardboard image of a Porsche dashboard, and he stuck it in front of him in the car. So he was driving his Fiat, but in his mind, he was driving a Porsche. Kind of to train his consciousness that it's possible. Visualize. Start with what you said you want to have more of, and do with yourself a closed-eye process where you visualize yourself achieving what you want. How would it feel? How would you feel? How would your body language be? How would you dress? What would you say? Anything kind of to put yourself in this situation of having what you want. And train your consciousness. This is the new me. This is how I'm going to be when I have it. And affirm. Affirmations are a great tool. If you say, I want to have a relationship, you can affirm, I have a loving relationship. You put it on a piece of paper, you stick it on your refrigerator, you stick it on your mirror in the bathroom, you put it at work, you put it on your computer as a screensaver. Everywhere you look, it says in present tense, I'm having a great partnership or relationship or whatever. And you will be surprised. It works. It kind of changes you. It makes you kind of accept that you can have that. And then it comes. So here is a question. You can put it in the chat. Did you get value tonight? Okay, great. You see, we are not just talking generally. We are living what we teach. So if feedback is important, I could do a workshop and say to myself, okay, I did a good job and that's it. But then I would get only feedback internally. So it's very important, and we ask for feedback. So I appreciate your feedback. Thank you for giving me that. And let's go continue. Somebody said my difficulty is to get, wait, to get clear about what I really want. After this step, it gets easier. But for me, this is the most difficult step to clear about what I want. Okay, so, okay, I'm not going to give you advice, of course, but I can tell you that kind of you reflect something to me about myself. I had the same issue before I did my first seminar 30 years ago. And if somebody would ask me what would make you happy, I would say, I don't know. I was just living, but I wasn't excited. I wanted more excitement in my life. I wanted to be happy, not just to be a good father, a good parent, you know, a good husband, a good employee, good citizen, whatever. And I was all of those. I mean, I had a very good life and successful life, but I was not happy. So, and people asked me, what do you need to be happy? And I said, I don't know. And what I learned in my seminar is that part of my issue was that I didn't believe that I deserved to be happy. And once I started to love myself more, then I could find happiness, because I opened myself up to the ability to look for happiness. So, you know, I can tell you that at some point, if you listen to your heart and not only to your mind, and definitely not to your good friends that are giving you advice of what you should want, because this is the worst place to look. Listen to your heart and you will find something that lights you up, where you will feel your energy saying, yeah, this is it. This is what I want. But start by believing that this is possible, not by saying, until now, I don't know what I want, so maybe it will not happen. It will happen. And if you want, you know, check it out. Come to the seminar. See, maybe it will give you some ideas. But even if not, you will find a more comfortable place with yourself and less judging. Okay. So thank you for the feedback. Let's continue. We have a little more time. So I want to talk to you a little about the next seminar. The next seminar is going to be on the 14th of March in Limassol. The full price is $470, and you can we don't have much room left on the seminar, and in the next 48 hours, you can get the seminar for $235. Before we go there, I just want to tell you something about the value of insight. And then I will also ask Eve to talk about it. Look, insight is not only a tool for you to better yourself and better your life and have a more loving place with yourself and with everything around you. That's not the only thing. It's huge. For somebody, you know, for me, I did my first seminar when I was over 40. It was huge. The realization that I deserve not only to be happy, but I also deserve to be loved, and that I can love myself. But in many places, and I've been the manager of Insight, the city director of Insight in Israel for years, in many places, even not greater, but a very strong value was the community. Because insight is not only a process that you go through, it's also a terminology, it's a language, it's a state of being, it's a perspective on life. And a lot of us, when we have a new perspective of life, it's very difficult to find other people around us with the same perspective. And then we feel kind of alone because everybody around us will stay whatever they are. And unfortunately, most people around us are less trusting, less loving, kind of suspicious. They don't open up if you don't really prove yourself, and are a little judgmental and expecting things of you and so on. So being in a community of people who kind of are like-minded, especially since they learned about opening their hearts and they see you not as a ego, but as a loving being, just meeting somebody from inside, going into the seminar room as an assistant or anything, you know, is for me, it's like it's a heart-opening experience. I find the energy of loving in every meeting with Insight people, in every seminar room. So this is one of the benefits that you get beyond what you learn for yourself and for your life. And in Cyprus, I've been there years now, many times. I've seen the community grow. I've seen the people committed to the work. And it's just amazing for me to see that and experience that every time I come to Cyprus. So take the seminar not only for yourself, take the seminar to be part of a community that you would really, really like spending your time with. Because these people will support you not in order to get something out of you. They will support you because they love you unconditionally, because they understand that you are a worthwhile human being, whether you fit their expectations or not. And that is a very, very comfortable place to be in. Okay. I will go to the next slide, and then Eve, you can talk about your role as the team captain and so on, okay? This is the slide. If you want to do the seminar, and then you can use one of those QR codes in order to sign up. The QR code on the top, you can sign up, pay 235 euros, and the space is yours. And that's good for the next 48 hours. Or, wait, did I have another one? Sorry, 1 second. No. Okay, or you can pay 100 euros, and this is a down payment, and you have until the 15th of February to complete the 235, and the space is yours. So basically you have two options. And I will ask Eve to tell us a little bit more, because Eve is the team captain who is organizing the next seminar.
Okay, thank you, Ofer, and thanks to everyone who spent their time tonight after the whole day's job. I believe everyone is tired and sleepy, but yeah, just I think most of the people here, we already experienced Insight and we know how good it is. I hope each one of you can share this good news that we're gonna have the discount for the next 48 hours. And for people who never been experienced Insight, for me, it's the best experience in my whole life, especially for Insight 2. But Insight 1 will definitely shake your mind. And it's not just a seminar. It's for me, it's also a fun place to go. It's like just going to the kindergarten, and all the realization just come through you, and you will never forget about it. So thanks again to everyone. Ofer, do you have anything to add? If not, we're gonna just say goodbye to everyone and thanks and to see you. Hope to see you soon.
I want to add something on the chat. There is also links that you can copy for the instead of the QR codes. I really, for the people who didn't take the seminar, I really recommend that you act. That's the point. If you feel that you want to do it, act. Many of us think about things we want and we keep thinking. And as they say, thinking doesn't do it, doing does it. So just, act, come to the seminar. I will see you there. I will be in the seminar. I will be facilitating the seminar. So you will have 3 full days with me, and I will talk less and you will experience more. You will play games, you will do exercises, you will have closed-eye processes, you will laugh, maybe some of you will cry a little, but everything will be in good nature and everything will be really beautiful. So I love you all. Have a great night, and I'll see you in March in Cyprus.
See you all then.
Bye, guys. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good night.